What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today, oh my goodness, it is a massive day for Destiny 2. The new developer livestream officially unveiling the upcoming episode Heresy has just concluded, and it contains some absolutely wild and unexpected things. If you think I'm lying, as you can see right here, I am not. Bit of a spoiler alert, Bungie snagged the official Star Wars collab. This is going to be launching the second episode Heresy goes live. Dude, people are freaking out about this on Twitter, but let's get started with what the heck went down in the live stream. So, starting things off, this is the brand new key art for episode Heresy. We are going back to the Dreadnought, and you can actually see some gameplay from inside the Dreadnought right here, because the next thing we're going to talk about is the new kind of main activity coming with episode Heresy. So it's going to be called the Nether, and Bungie said it is a roguelite experience. Now, what does that mean? Well, here are the key features of this activity. First of all, you have several different matchmaking modes. You have like a solo exploration mode where you can really explore the Dreadnought, and they kept saying find secrets in this mode. You also have just a quick one and done, do like one activity, get some loot and bounce matchmaking mode. And then you have the big mode, somewhat similar to the currently available Tomb of Elders, where you go and do like one zone, you complete the activity there, move on to the next zone, move on to the next zone, and if you do all of them, you're going to get like escalating drops of loot. You'll get a lot of loot for doing all of them. Now, on top of that, guys, there's no base health regeneration in this mode. Now, to compensate, Bungie said you have like 300 more health than normal, but you're not going to be able to go back behind cover and wait for your health to regen. On top of that, they said there's going to be more ammo scarcity, so you'll have to look around the map, shoot different objects, and open certain chests to get those ammo and health drops. So bringing in stuff like support frame auto rifles is a very good idea to provide some healing. Bungie did say that they tuned the healing values of stuff like that in this mode, so they're not like completely overpowered. And speaking of new support frame auto rifles, guys, let's just talk about the brand new Strand support frame auto rifle coming next season. As you can see, it is right here, and because it's Strand, when you heal continuously an ally for enough time, they're going to start shooting out projectiles that unravel nearby targets. That's just outright better than the solar version. I mean, does the solar version provide more healing? I don't know how they're going to balance that, but regardless, guys, that is going to be pretty darn sweet. Now, in addition, just like other roguelike games out there, you're going to be able to upgrade your character as you go through. So, as you can see right here from the background gameplay, you have the ability to choose between different upgrades for your character that will apply for the remainder of the activity. And we can actually see right here, like the player interacts with some sort of like upgrade console, and it shows all of the currently active upgrades. So there are major boons and minor boons, and then of the majors, you have corrupted boons, which provide a really big bonus, but have a downside as well. And then other major boons are just purely positive, however, they might not be as positive. One of the really interesting ones they talked about was one called Glass Cannon, where you do like significantly more damage, but you also take more incoming damage. And again, in a mode where your health doesn't regen, that's quite the risk-reward playoff there. But again, super interesting mechanic in terms of the upgrade, and that is really going to be this activity. You're going into the Dreadnought, you're like doing an activity, you're exploring, you're doing maybe bonus objectives and so on, you're upgrading your character, you're moving on to the next activity, you're moving on to the next activity, and you're going through and getting loot the entire time. Now, I've talked about loot. What are we actually playing for? Well, here is a look at some of the new loot. I already showed you that auto rifle, but you may notice, guys, wait a minute, it's Adept. Yes, there's going to be Adept versions of the seasonal Heresy loot. And Bungie also said these are going to be very similar to the Into the Light shiny versions of weapons. They come with multiple perks, and they come with a bonus origin trait, actually, which is very cool. So these are going to be like very desirable to grind after for sure. And we saw a look at some of those new Heresy weapons. On top of that support frame auto rifle, we have a brand new arc area denial frame grenade launcher, and we have some new perks on offer. This has Rolling Storm, where final blows give you bolt charges, and when amplified, final blows grant additional bolt charges, guys. But the episode Heresy weapons aren't the only legendary weapons you're going to be going after, because as you can see right here, the Vault of Glass weapons are going to be craftable next season. That's right, you can go and unlock and then craft the perfect God Roll Fatebringer. And not only that, as you can see right here, there is new perks these weapons are going to spawn with. So the Fatebringer gets the brand new Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus. This bonus is increased for kinetic weapons. So if you're using a prismatic and doing a bunch of different elemental damages, like you're just gonna make the Fatebringer do a ton of damage, like that could be crazy. And there is a new origin trait, as you can see right here, for the Vogue weapons, and that's gonna be Time Lost Magazine. Final blows with this weapon grant bonus super energy. When your super expires, this weapon's magazine size is doubled for a long duration and reloads from reserves. Actually, like a built-in thresh is actually pretty sick. And on top of that, on the train of legendary weapons, we have some new reprised weapons from Season of the Arrivals, guys. So as you can see right here, the Cold Denial Pulse Rifle is back. Like, people were dropping people in Crucible with the Cold Denial back in the day, and the Whispering Slab is coming back as well. Now, that is just legendary weapons. Let's talk about some of the new exotic weapons, because Bungie showed that off too. So as you can see right here, we get a brand new Strand SMG that looks absolutely crazy, guys. But this thing will generate Blight as it deals damage, and while not firing, Blight depletes and the magazine is gradually refilled. You can reload to convert stored Blight into Blighted Seekers, and you can see some background gameplay with it. Its trait is just that it resonates with your choices. They said it kind of has a mind of its own, and essentially you can use it in like SMG mode where you're just killing enemies. The magazine will refill itself. You kill, it keeps refilling, and you'll basically never have to reload. Or you can hit that reload and then do those very powerful, extra damaging blighted attacks. So kind of a cool weapon for sure. And I believe that this is going to be like the special quest exotic or exotic mission exotic. So maybe we won't get this until Act 3 actually. Or it could be involved in some sort of secret exotic quest that starts when Episode Heresy starts. And the evidence for that is actually in the very first gameplay clip. The player picks up something weird, an exotic seemingly quest item right here, and have no idea what the heck this thing is, but it's gotta be for something, right? But we know it's not going to be the Season's Pass exotic because the new exotic that's coming with the Season's Pass is actually the first ever primary ammo trace rifle. So you can see it right here, called the Lodestar. It's an arc trace rifle. The intrinsic trait says this fires a low intensity arc beam with enhanced stability and accuracy, and it's going to fire bursts. So it's not going to be like hold down the trigger, a constant beam. So it's kind of more like a pulse rifle, trace rifle hybrid. But then the trait is arc alignment. Dealing arc damage from any source aligns the battery's coils. When alignment is complete, you hold reload to disengage the safety and enable hip-fired Starlight Beam to apply jolt to any targets damaged for a short time, aimed on sights to slow the rate of fire at which the battery drains. So essentially, you do arc damage. So with this thing itself or any other arc source, you build up that like battery, you hold reload, and then you start supercharging the weapon and jolting everything in front of you. And again, with primary ammo being used here, so infinite ammo, this could be pretty crazy, guys. But moving on from there, how are you going to be incorporating these weapons into your builds? Well, let's take a look at the brand new seasonal artifact, the Tablet of Ruin. Now, Bungie did not show off every single one of these artifact perks like they sometimes do, so expect all of them to be revealed in the upcoming TWAB coming out this week. But we did get a look at some of them. Importantly, it seems like the next episode, Episode Heresy, is going to be themed around 3 different elements: Void, Arc, and Strand. So those are the weapons and the builds and the exotic armor pieces. Anything that affects those 3 elements, you should really look towards build crafting next season. For example, One of the artifact perks is Void Flux. Defeating weakened targets with a void weapon applies volatile to nearby targets. Powerful targets increase the radius of the explosion. Now you can combine that with Maligned Harvest. Rapidly applying volatile causes your next instance of void weapon damage to create a weakening burst, and the boost is that applying weaken provides a small void overshield. So again, void weapons with those two perks are going to go crazy. Now, by the way, if you're thinking, oh no, a boost, are tonics coming back? Apparently not. Bungie said they really didn't work out too well, or perhaps it's just volatile tonics, because in terms of farming specific weapons, Bungie did say there's going to be some sort of object that you go and just essentially attune the weapon you actually want, and then you leave and can play as many activities as you want, and that attunement will still be active. No need to reapply tonics over and over again in the middle of activities, which is good. Now, for arc weapons, they showed off flashover, so when you gain maximum bolt charge, you also become amplified. Lightning bolts deal more damage. So again, great. And they have Horde Shuttle, where damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a threadling, and the boost is that threadlings sever targets that they damage. So again, that's another great one for your strand builds. Now, in terms of your anti-champion mods, starting from the bottom and going up, you have Unstopped Glaive, you have Anti-Barrier Sniper, which is a huge one, you have Anti-Barrier Sidearms with rocket sidearms, that's going to be awesome, you have Overload Machine Guns, and then you actually have Unstoppable Linears and Fusion Rifles combined, and this goes insano style because we actually have the return of Particle Reconstruction, or used to say Deconstruction, but it's back in spirit. Dealing sustained damage with fusion rifles or linear fusion rifles partially refills the magazine from reserves and grants them bonus damage for a short duration against that target. Guys, this, when it came to the game forever ago, I can't remember exactly what season, but oh my goodness, I think it was maybe even like a Season of the Lost 30th anniversary, but this completely warped the meta. Every single DPS phase was using fusion rifles or linears because, I mean, they're just going to boost the damage. Now, before, I think they actually caused a weaken effect, but again, like, this is huge, getting that bonus damage. So think about every single god roll PvE linear fusion rifle in the game, okay? Think about the 1K Voices. That's technically a fusion rifle. That's going to be doing a bonus damage. Think about the Vex Mythoclast, baby. That's a primary weapon that's going to be absolutely slaughtering with Particle Reconstruction. Super important perk. And again, we're going to go over every single one of these artifact perks when they're fully revealed later this week, guys. But moving on from there, if we're talking about build crafting, Bungie also did show off the 3 new aspects coming to the game in Episode Heresy. So these are going to be free for everyone, just added to the base subclasses. For the Warlock, you have Ionic Sentry, so defeat targets with kinetic or arc weapons or arc abilities to charge up an arc turret that periodically chains lightning between nearby targets, granting a stack of bolt charge with each hit. And then you can press, whatever your binding is to deploy the Ionic Sentry, blinding nearby targets on initial impact. And then for the Titan here, guys, they have Storm's Keep. So cast your class ability to grant a moderate amount of bolt charge stacks to you and nearby allies. While behind your barricade, you and your allies gain stacks of bolt charge over time, and your weapons can discharge max stacks of bolt charge. Essentially, normally when you have max bolt charge, you have to throw an ability for that lightning bolt. And that lightning bolt is basically going to be, as Bungie stated, the arc version of an ignition. So similar damage to an ignition, and ignitions are great. So now you're going to be causing essentially arc ignitions as you're DPSing from behind a barricade. That's just a big boost to DPS. This could be huge again for damage phases, guys. And then for the Warlock, they get On the Prowl. So entering invisibility marks a nearby combatant as a priority target for you and your team. Defeating that target creates a weakening cloud of smoke that makes you and allies invisible when passing through the smoke. And then when priority targets are defeated, you and nearby allies gain increased weapon reload speed and stability for a short time and are granted ability energy. So essentially, guys, like, you can go invisible, you get that marked target, you kill that marked target, you have the smoke created, then you can just go through that smoke and that's going to make you go invisible and mark another target. So you can keep going from target to target to target, constantly getting invisibility back and constantly regenerating your abilities. Basically, you're like an assassin. You're playing an assassin's minigame. You're playing Hitman in Destiny 2 with this aspect. Now, moving on from there, let's talk about what I teased at the beginning of the video, a closer look at the Destiny 2 Star Wars collab. So again, here is the promotional image, and then taking a look at the actual armor here, guys. The Hunters get to be the Death Trooper right here. After that, the Warlocks are going to get the Praetorian Guard armor, and then lastly, the Titans get the iconic Stormtrooper armor. So, like, this is about as iconic as it gets, and honestly, like, it really does fit. Of all the collabs, this is one of the best, most appropriate thematically for Destiny. I mean, you're flying around in space in big chunky armor, like, it is perfect. So that's going to be really exciting. Plus, as you can see here, they have a Death Star ghost that will shoot out the occasional laser beam. And they said there's even more in terms of emotes, and I think a ship and a sparrow, they said, that are going to be available again as soon as Episode Heresy launches. So overall, guys, that is going to be it for the key things to know about Episode Heresy. What do you guys think? Honestly, I think there's a lot that is pretty exciting here, like the build crafting element with brand new aspects, new seasonal artifact perks, having actual desirable like adept weapons to go after. The exotics look pretty cool as well. Not to mention Vault of Glass, getting craftable weapons. Like, there's going to be a lot to go for next season, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the description down below. Guys, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.